Hey guys, Logan here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my review for Us, the Jordan Peele's follow-up to his directorial debut, Get Out, which came out a couple of years ago. And this film stars Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke, who played as the husband and wife taking their kids to their beach house, expecting to unplug and unwind with friends. But as night descends, their serenity turns to tension and chaos when some shocking visitors arrive uninvited. Now, I was excited for this movie for two reasons. One, Get Out was really good, and it was a huge financial and critical success that Jordan Peele has, and it was one of a great directorial debut for Jordan Peele, in my eyes at least, because that was a really good film. The second is that this film stars Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke, both of which also starred in Black Panther. So those two things were the reasons why I was really excited to see this movie. And I must say, after viewing this film, I honestly don't get the love for it. I really don't. I really don't get why this movie is loved by a lot of critics and audiences. I just don't. This is honestly the most overrated film I have seen this year, period. I mean, not to say that it was a bad film. It wasn't a bad film. But it just wasn't a great film like many people said it was, or is. There were so many things that rubbed me the wrong way about this film. But I want to start off with the positives. Let me just say this. Lupita Nyong'o, fantastic. This was a great performance from Lupita Nyong'o. She pulled off her performance so excellently, to the point where she deserves an Oscar nomination for Best Leading Actress, for a film, or Best Leading Actress role, or something like that. And Winston Duke, I like Winston Duke in this film. He was hilarious. There were moments in there where you see him kind of being afraid of what was about to happen, but also tries to, get in some humor to try to give in the levity of, some creepy and like scary looking moments. The score for this movie sounds really good, and I really like this score. It sounds creepy, it sounds dark and gritty, and it just gives me chills every time I hear the score that has been playing in the background of this film. It just sounds so creepy and in a great way. I like the score, and I do really like the look and the feel of Us, or the movie Us. The look and feel of it, maybe it's the cinematography, the camera work, the lighting, or anything that comes with it. Just the look and the feel of Us as this really creepy ass horror film. I do have to applaud Jordan Peele for making this film so creepy, because this is a really creepy film, but in a great way. It sends chills down my spine, at least for the most part. So I do like that. Just the look and the feel of this film makes me want to applaud Jordan Peele for doing that. Just making this film look as if it is a pure definition of horror. I do like that. But outside of those positives, this movie was a big disappointment in more than one way. Like, seriously. Let me start off with the script. The script is mediocre. There were multiple times that happened where I was like scratching my head and was just in utter confusion. Moments to me that don't make sense and don't really add up to what this movie was really about. Don't fully, show or explain what this film truly is about. This movie is weird. It's really odd, but not in ways where you're like, oh, that's really interesting. This movie is odd and weird, but it's really interesting. Not mostly. At least in my eyes, it's not. So the script being mediocre combined with the acting that was just below average. Just utterly below average. There's not very... Lupita Nyong'o has the best acting in the entire film. Her acting alone blows every actor and actress, in terms of the acting performance, out of the water. Her acting blows everybody else's acting out of the freaking water. And most of the characters are pretty weak. They're very weak in terms of the arcs, the directions, and the moments that they have, whether if they are like the originals or they're like the doppelgangers, whichever way you turn, most of the characters outside of Lupita Nyong'o, most of the characters were just were just straight up weak in terms of writing, dialogue, which was also very weak, and script and decision making, which again was also very dumb. And the direction to the plot of this movie is really confusing and all over the place, and sounds absurd. At least the plot, it sounds absurd when looking back on it after the first viewing. Now, I understand some people saying that this movie was so deep in terms of narrative, cohesive narrative-wise, deep message and deep story that, makes you want to delve into it, makes you want to watch it more to fully understand what this movie is trying to tell you, what it's really about. I get all that, and I understand why some people would, or most people would feel that way. I, however, am one of those people that really tried so hard to figure out what this movie was actually telling me, and based on a lot of things that this movie has. Now, guys, let me say this. The first half of the movie is basically a home invasion film. The second half felt like a zombie apocalypse movie, and I won't explain why. In case you haven't seen it, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but basically, this film felt like two different movies in two halves. And it also felt like a lot of other movies in the past that we've seen. So, my biggest issue with this movie, basically, is the consistent storytelling of this film, and how sense it was trying to make with its plot. And the plot that this film tries to tell you, or what it tries to show you, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it was so nonsensical to the point where it was just unbelievable to me. It didn't feel realistic in terms of how this film tells the story, or how it shows the story of what it was about. It just felt unrealistic, and I didn't buy it. I didn't buy what this movie was trying to give me, or what it was trying to tell me. I just didn't. Us was one of the most disappointing films of the year, if not the most disappointing film. And not just that, and I did say that early on in this review, it's the most overrated film I have seen this year so far, period. I don't get the love for it at all. I'm going to give Us a Silver Medal of Honor. So anyway, guys, that is my review for Jordan Peele's Us. I have a lot more videos coming to you very soon, so stay tuned. If you guys enjoyed this review, please click the like button, and if you have already seen this film, comment below to let me know what you think of it. If you enjoy what you see in here and you want to see future videos from me, please press up there to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight.